Hi guys, how you doing, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing Overwatch Getting Out of Elo Hell Part 24. Hopefully we can climb out of silver. Let's get right into this. Now, I was planning to make this Getting Out of Elo Hell 24. However, the last game was so interesting and weird that I thought I would make it an entire video. Because it really shows how weird the teammates you get on LFG are, or looking for group if you don't know how to use abbreviations. You will see in the video, but basically our friends left and I was suggested by one of my friends to use LFG, and since last time I used LFG, I got to gold and diamond on another account, I felt like this was a good idea, and I did it, and this is what happened. I will come back and explain some random things that happened in the video and give you some context at intervals. Anyway, enjoy!
You're like a pro, and you're in gold.
So, the guy who you heard talking in the background is someone called Notevenweaboo. Now, if you're aware of any sort of smurfing in general, and any sort of Xbox account names and stuff like that, you'll know that anyone called Notevenweaboo is clearly a smurf. Also, checked his account a little bit later, he had like 300 gamer score, so unless he's really new to Xbox, which he states he is in a couple of minutes, he is clearly a smurf, and by the way he plays in this game, you can totally tell he's a smurf. However, he sounds like he's 8 years old, and unless you think of him as some sort of genius at 8 years old, he is not very good at hiding the fact that he's smurfing, and he says to us all the time, and he overdoes it every single time, "Oh, you're so good because you're in gold." Yeah, sure. Well, anyway, he's a smurf, we gathered that by this point, and he tends to show it off a little bit, the fact like, "Oh look, I got a headshot, I'm doing so good," and he tends to blabber on about it a little bit, so that's who that guy is. He's one of the people we found on LFG. On to the next weird thing that happened in this.
This gold is like really hard, I'm barely in silver. My first season though.
It's your first season. Just another quick thing, we had someone else on our team who was impersonating avicadu, which, if you're unaware of, he is a Overwatch YouTuber doing memes and etc. But, like, why? Because this guy had a 2 instead of a Z in front of, like, on the phase or whatever. Because, yeah, so that's another person you meet in the LFG. Just a quick thing. Here's the proof that he had low gamer score, just for those of you who don't believe me, because I'm sure there will be some. That you have low gamer score as well. Just to point out, he pointed out my low gamer score on this account in general as well. Now, which new player to Xbox would know that? What new player to Xbox would know low gamer score equals smurf? In fact, what new player to Xbox and Overwatch would know that there's new players and smurfs and stuff like that? Like, who? So yeah, this is some of the evidence I had against him, and this is where I started questioning him, and I actually confronted him about it, saying, well, what about your low gamer score, you know? What about it? How are you going to explain that one then? And this is where he comes up with an excuse, and I was kind of a bit off on the edge, and I kind of knew that he was a smurf.
Yeah, because my expert's new, and I just got it.
Here's his profile, so judge for yourself on what you think about him being a smurf and stuff like that, but if you look at it, a lot of them are smurf characters, people like Widowmaker, Torbjorn, etc. And not only that, but he's only won like 2 games, so he's probably been throwing half of them. In fact, he probably threw the game that he played with us, that you'll see in a minute.
But your most played is Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Ryan's not a dive.
Yeah.
Right, again, how would you know that? If you're a level 25 player new to the game and new to Xbox in general, how would you know that Reinhardt's not a dive tank? We were previously talking, before this conversation, about how I play dive tanks, and he was saying, oh, so you're playing the bad tank and I'm playing the good tank. He's talking about main tanks being the good tanks, but I'm like, well, how do you know that the dive tanks are bad? Which I guess that is a quote-unquote newbie thing to say. However, then he goes on to say later on, just giving up his act a little bit, oh yeah, by the way, Reinhardt isn't a dive tank, and you have him on your most played. So he's checked my profile, he's found my most played is Reinhardt, and then he said that Reinhardt isn't a dive tank. Okay.
Okay, so you play Ryan, I go Diva. Yeah, good job, nice.
Last time it was like 5 or 10 for me.
Now, that one perceptive person in the back of the audience, hello down there, has basically just realised that that's another person. That's someone else completely different who tends to talk on and off between these. He's not really weird, but he just doesn't really talk, and he doesn't really say anything or do anything. But whenever he's told to, or whenever he wants to just appear out of nowhere. And you also may have noticed, if you're perceptive, like that one guy at the back, hello again, yeah, he's the cause of the echo, you might have heard already. I'm sorry for that, but his mic is absolutely awful. Anyway, on with it.
You're probably so good you need like hard players and it takes a while to get them. No? So what you're saying is you suck and there's no other bad players, yeah? You secretly bullying me.
We're against the bronze. We're against the bronze. Why is someone going to say he's avicadu?
Why not? Because he's in face, obviously.
I was just saying that he was copying a famous YouTuber's name, and I didn't see why. Because I know there are fan accounts, but making something that looks almost exactly like his name, but on a different console, isn't really being a fan. So I wasn't really sure on it, and he just thought I was making fun of the fact that he tried to make himself in phase. But no, I really wasn't. Anyway, back to it.
Yeah, very cool.
Now, how is he gonna know the short term for saying, like, resurrect with mercy, because usually a normal player wouldn't know the ability's name, and wouldn't even know to ask for a res. They would just kind of stand there and die. But also, he knew the abbreviation for resurrection, which is res, and that just doesn't make any sense as to being a new player. So again, more evidence stacking up against him, saying he's a smurf, which we probably all knew already. What is this game?
It's a win, that's what this game is. Your Widow's really good. I don't know what happened, I got a triple kill.
This is one of those things where, like I said at the beginning, saying like, oh, I'm gonna deny everything I did good, and I'm gonna overdo it so that you don't think I'm a smurf, where really, we know he's a smurf, he just got a triple kill, and he's on fire. So yeah, he's just trying to prove himself down when we know he's definitely a smurf at this point. Right, let me know down below if you want me to do a part 2 of this, because there is more to this game, but I felt like I didn't want to elongate the video in any way, and I also felt like if I just included any more, I would just keep repeating myself, so I didn't feel like I could do it in one video. So if you want me to make a second part of this, then tell me down in the comments below. Also, I'm going to leave a link in the description to an unlisted video where I will just show you all the footage I had all together without me cutting it, so you can see that it's not just me cutting up the footage to make him look like an idiot. It's me actually giving you what happened in a concise and easy way for the video. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.